If you received a Medicaid renewal packet in the mail, don't worry, this is normal, and you are not alone. Renewals have deadlines, but you can do this, and your care manager can help you every step of the way. In this video, we'll show you what's inside the adult renewal packet for people 18 and older, renewing Medicaid through New York City HRA, the New York City Human Resources Administration. We will cover what to fill out, what to send back, and how to avoid delays or loss of coverage. If you are enrolled in a CCO, a care coordination organization, do not hesitate to contact your care manager for assistance. They are prepared to be there for you through this whole process, assisting with paperwork, confirming who will submit, tracking the due date, verifying receipt by Medicaid, responding to any deferral requests, and ensuring an approval notice is issued. Even if you recently certified within the last 6 months, it is best practice to submit the packet and ask questions afterwards. If you're unsure whether you need to submit it, please do not wait for Medicaid to respond before turning it in, as delays can lead to case closures. You may see the MAP 2096P form. These are your renewal instructions. They outline how to complete and return your packet. Review these first as they summarize the process and proof requirements. There are 2 common renewal forms, the MAP 909E, this is disability-based, and the MAP 2096F. It's also known as the MAGI form. If someone receives a MAP 2096F, that is not necessarily an error. It simply means HRA does not currently have that person coded as disabled at the time the renewal was issued. If you or your loved one received the MAGI packet by mistake, don't wait. Complete and return what you received and include the disability form MAP 3177 with it. We will explain the 3177 form shortly. Please do not leave anything blank on this packet. If something does not apply, just answer no or write NA for not applicable to show Medicaid that the section was addressed and not missed. This is your official renewal notice. It shows your case number in the top right corner. When contacting Medicaid directly, they may ask for this number to locate and verify the case. The due date also appears in bold. Return the entire packet, including this page, before that date to prevent coverage from ending. Page 2. This section requests household information and asks for the names of family members included in the case. Since you are submitting a recertification for someone over the age of 18, and they are the only person renewing their Medicaid coverage, only their name should be entered in this section. If HRA already has the Social Security number on file, it will indicate that. Otherwise, please provide it. Section 2 asks you to list your address. If the address listed is accurate, check No Change to the right. If you are enrolled in a care coordination organization, please consider putting your care manager's local office address for secondary notices for added protection. If the Medicaid member contributes any housing or rent payments, please include the monthly portion at the bottom of the page. Section 3 asks about Medicare health insurance. This is especially important for people who are newly eligible for Medicare due to receiving Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, or Disabled Adult Child Benefits, DAC. Sometimes Medicare starts automatically, even before the person receiving it has received their card or full details. If Medicare has started or is in process, report it, even if you do not know every detail yet. This is critical because once Medicare begins, it becomes the primary insurance. It is also essential to note whether a Medicare Part B premium is being paid, as this premium is usually deducted from the Social Security benefit. This information allows HRA to determine eligibility for the Medicare Savings Program, which may help pay some or all of the Part B premium, and in some cases, other Medicare cost sharing. Many SSDI and DAC recipients qualify for this assistance but are unaware of it. Next, you'll be asked about other health insurance, like insurance through a job, a parent, a spouse, COBRA, or private insurance. If there is any other insurance, report it here and include proof if you have it, like a plan summary or an insurance card. Section 5 is the income section and must be completed in full. For adults over 18, list only the person's income, not their parents' income. If the person works, send about 4 weeks of pay stubs and use the gross amount before taxes. In very rare situations, if a person is between the ages of 18 and 21, lives at home with their parents, has not been found disabled, and is not receiving any Social Security disability benefits, HRA may still consider parental income. When in doubt, ask your care manager. Section 6 asks about assets that belong to the person renewing Medicaid, not their parents or other household members. The Medicaid member's checking or savings accounts, for example, would be listed here. If you have an ABLE account or a trust, it still should be listed even if the resources in these accounts do not count toward Medicaid resource limits. The current balance should still be listed and proof provided, such as a recent statement, along with documentation showing the trust or ABLE account has been approved or meets Medicaid requirements. Section A is about real estate ownership. It asks whether the person renewing Medicaid owns any property, either by themselves or together with someone else. Only property that belongs to the person renewing Medicaid should be reported. Do not include a parent's or family member's property unless the person renewing Medicaid is actually named on the deed. Real estate includes any type of property interest, such as a house, condominium, cooperative apartment, land, or other property. This applies to property located in New York or in any other state. If the person owns their primary residence, the home where they live, it must still be reported, even though a primary residence is not counted as a resource for Medicaid. Medicaid needs this information to confirm that the person owns and lives in the home. Any other real estate must also be reported. This includes a second home, inherited property, vacant land, or rental property. These types of property may count as resources for Medicaid, depending on the situation. Ownership also includes partial ownership. For example, if the person's name is on a deed with parents, siblings, or others, it must be reported, even if the person does not live at that property or did not help pay for it. If the member owns a pooled trust for the purpose of avoiding a Medicaid spend down, please list the monthly deposit amount in Section 7 and provide proof of those deposits for the last 12 months, such as trust statements, deposit receipts, or a letter from the trust administrator showing that the full monthly spend down was deposited for the past 12 months. Some sections may not apply, like childcare expenses, pregnancy-related costs, or disability-related work expenses. If they don't apply, mark No or NA for not applicable. If you or the Medicaid member has their own child and they personally pay for childcare, those expenses should be reported. This may include payments to a licensed daycare, babysitter, or after-school program or other type of childcare provider. Only the amount they actually pay should be listed, and Medicaid may request proof such as receipts or a letter from the provider. If there are no childcare expenses paid by the person themselves, the correct response is simply to indicate that there are none. Section 9 asks whether you have any pregnancy-related expenses or disability-related work expenses that should be considered during your Medicaid renewal. If you are not pregnant and do not have work-related disability expenses, you can mark this section No. If anyone has a disability-related work expense, such as access a ride, list them and keep receipts. They can reduce countable income. You can also request accessible notice formats like large print, audio CD, data CD, Braille, and specify your spoken and written language. HRA notices are available in multiple languages, including English, Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, Haitian Creole, Korean, Russian, Bengali, French, Polish, and Urdu. Page 7. Don't forget the signature. HRA will not process the renewal without it. The person renewing or their representative must sign. A strong best practice in Medicaid recertification is to provide supporting documentation for everything listed in the recertification packet. Medicaid relies on documentation to verify the information reported, and submitting proofs up front helps prevent delays, deferral notices, and unnecessary back and forth. That concludes the actual recertification packet, but now let's talk about 2 additional forms that you may receive or proactively include when returning the packet. The first is the Financial Maintenance at Renewal form. Not everyone needs this. HRA typically asks for it when the expenses listed look unusually high compared to reported income. If the HRA requests it, fill it out completely and honestly. This form helps explain how bills are being paid. The purpose of the financial maintenance form is to explain how you are meeting your expenses and to confirm that there is no undisclosed income. On the form, you may be asked to describe support you receive from others, such as help from family or friends, shared household expenses, or non-cash assistance. Needing to complete this form does not automatically mean that there is a problem with your case. It is simply a way for Medicaid to document how you are financially maintaining yourself. Only complete the form if HRA specifically asks for it, and be sure to answer honestly and completely to avoid delays in your Medicaid renewal. The MAP 3177 is a disability form. Medicaid uses this when it has to decide disability on its own. Medicaid does not always include this form in a recertification packet, but it may still be required. If a person does not receive Social Security disability benefits such as SSI, SSDI, or DAC, Disabled Adult Child, Medicaid cannot use a federal disability decision and must review disability through the State Disability Review Unit, SDRU. Because of this, it is best to include the MAP 3177 when submitting a Medicaid recertification if the person does not receive Social Security disability benefits. The form is available online or from your care manager. Sending it in with the recertification can help avoid delays, extra notices, or gaps in coverage. Most people who are not on SSI, SSDI, or DAC will need to complete this form unless they have had a recent SDRU decision, in which case Medicaid may already have enough information on file. When unsure, especially if the person does not receive Social Security disability benefits, it is strongly recommended to include the MAP 3177 form. Doing so helps Medicaid process the case more smoothly and reduces the risk of problems. The Medicaid recertification process is not meant to be overly complicated. The key to a smooth renewal is providing complete and accurate information up front. If you are ever unsure whether something should be listed, please go ahead and include it. Medicaid will make the final determination. You cannot provide too much information. If something is not needed, Medicaid simply will disregard it. However, underreporting can lead to requests for additional documentation, which often can cause unnecessary delays and can put coverage at risk. For every recertification, please make sure the following information is clearly noted somewhere on the packet: that the person recertifying is disabled, and if they are HCBS waiver enrolled, that they need CBLTC, Community-Based Long-Term Care Coverage with Code 19. Include any supporting documents like a waiver notice of decision, LCED determination, or an eligibility letter, especially if they are not on SSI. Make sure you sign and date the renewal, as unsigned forms will not be processed. Be sure to mail or deliver the packet by the due date to the address shown. Keep copies. Watch your mail for either approval or a request for more information, and respond quickly to avoid gaps. This process moves faster when everything is complete and clear the first time. If you receive a deferral or request for more information, respond before the deadline with exactly what is requested. If you have any questions or need follow-up support, please reach out to your care coordination organization or your care manager for further assistance. Thank you for watching and enjoy your day.